Welcome to Logan's Comics, where broken wings still rise, fallen angels find redemption, and every legend carries the weight of their own heaven and hell. There's something different about Warren Worthington, and it's not just the wings. It's the way he carries them, the way he carries himself, like he was born hovering just above the world but never quite above the pain it offered. Before he learned to fight, before he learned to lead, he learned to hide those wings under heavy sweaters and restless silence. Even then, he felt the pull of the sky like an instinct he could never tame. You can picture him as a teenager standing at the open window of his dorm room, listening to the wind as if it were whispering his name. He didn't jump out of rebellion or fear, he jumped because gravity felt optional to him. And in that moment, soaring for the first time, he understood that his mutation was more than anatomy. It was identity, purpose, maybe even destiny. But destiny is rarely gentle, especially in the world of mutants. Warren entered the world as a symbol of beauty, hope, and freedom. The golden boy of the X-Men, the one who smiled even during impossible missions because flight made him feel alive in ways no one else could understand. He fought beside Cyclops, Jean, Beast, and Iceman with an optimism that seemed unbreakable. And in those early days, it really was. Yet for every hero who can fly, life waits patiently with a reason to fall. Warren's life, for a long time, felt like a tug-of-war between privilege and purpose. He was born into wealth, empire, expectation. But he chose the X-Men chosen family over inherited legacy, brotherhood over business. He didn't just fly into battle, he soared into it, leading with his heart long before he learned to lead with strategy. Still, even the brightest wings cast a shadow. One of the hardest truths Warren learned was that beauty can be a prison. People didn't see the person, they saw the angel. They saw grace, not the loneliness of being separated by something you can't hide. They admired the wings but never noticed how heavy they were. And life, as it always does, changed him. Warren's transformation didn't start with apocalypse, it started with fear. A deep, consuming fear of losing the one thing that made him feel like himself. When tragedy struck and his wings were torn from him, it wasn't just mutilation. It was identity theft. Imagine losing not just a limb but a sense of who you are. The sky was more than air to him. It was peace, purpose, home. And suddenly it was gone. The world saw a wounded hero. Warren saw a ghost in the mirror. And that's when apocalypse came. It wasn't seduction. It wasn't manipulation. It was a predator finding someone already bleeding. Apocalypse didn't offer power. He offered restoration, and Warren, desperate to fly again, said yes. The procedure that followed didn't just give him new wings. It rewrote his soul. Feathered grace became metal razors. A gentle heart became a weapon primed for war. The angel fell and the archangel rose. He emerged colder, quieter, almost carved from steel. His voice carried a weight it never had before, sharp, haunted, restrained, like someone constantly fighting the echo of another presence inside him. The other horsemen were soldiers. Warren was a monument, proof that even the purest spirit can fracture under the right pressure. And yet beneath the metal wings and midnight armor, something of the old Warren survived. A spark, a whisper, a memory of sunlight. That inner struggle would define him for years. He was no longer just Warren Worthington I. He wasn't just Angel, and he certainly wasn't just Archangel. He became a living paradox, a reminder that trauma changes us but doesn't have to erase us. It took time, it took pain, it took friends who refused to give up on him even when he had all but given up on himself. And slowly the angel and the archangel began to coexist, not peacefully, but honestly. Because the truth is this, Warren's story isn't a story of corruption, it's a story of survival. Imagine waking up every day not knowing whether the part of you that wants to heal or the part that wants to destroy will be louder. That was Warren's life for years. He fought enemies on the battlefield and fought himself in the quiet hours of the night. But here's the incredible thing about him. Warren never stopped trying. Even at his darkest, he saved lives. Even when his wings were weapons, he used them to protect the innocent. Even when the archangel voice whispered for blood, Warren fought for mercy. Few heroes know the price of redemption like he does. And along the way, he learned something invaluable. Sometimes the parts of us that we're most afraid of are the ones we need to confront, not erase. Warren's rebirths, and there were many, each felt like a shedding of skin, a chance to redefine himself. He cycled through versions of Angel and Archangel like chapters in a long, turbulent autobiography, each form marked by a different emotional truth. But the turning point came when he accepted that he wasn't two people trapped in one body. He was one man with two histories, both equally real. He learned to fly again with feathered wings reborn from tragedy, yet the metallic wings never disappeared completely. They lived within him, reminders of the cost of regaining hope. You can see the symbolism in every panel of his life. Light and shadow, grace and fury, heaven and hell. But Warren isn't a metaphor, he's a person, and that's why his story resonates. He doesn't represent perfection, he represents perseverance. There's a moment in Warren's life that fans rarely talk about, but it defines him better than any battle. The simple, quiet act of choosing to help someone even while he himself was breaking. No costume, no team, just Warren, a man with scars, with history, with wings folded heavy behind him. That's who he truly is. Not the billionaire heir. Not the horseman of death. Not the X-Men poster boy. Just Warren, someone who still believes in helping others, even when he's not sure he can help himself. His relationships shaped him deeply. Love softened him, loss sharpened him, and team dynamics, especially his long, complicated history with the X-Men, grounded him in ways even Flight couldn't. Scott, Jean, Hank, Bobby, they weren't just teammates. They were anchors, witnesses to his evolution. Proof that family, chosen or otherwise, can hold you together when the world tries to pull you apart. And Warren, despite everything, learned to trust again, to lead again, to be more than the trauma that shaped him. What makes him remarkable isn't that he fell. It's that he kept rising. Every transformation brought a new layer, responsibility, pain, resilience, wisdom. Angel became Archangel. Archangel rediscovered Angel. Together they became someone stronger, someone more whole, someone who understood that identity isn't fixed, it's earned. As years passed, Warren became something deeper than a hero. He became a symbol of duality, the idea that beauty and brutality can coexist within the same heart without canceling each other out. His journey isn't about choosing light or darkness. It's about learning to navigate both without losing yourself. That's what makes him one of the most human characters in the X-Men. He doesn't fly above his problems. He flies through them. Every ascent is a victory. Every descent is a lesson. And even now, when he takes to the sky with wings that catch the light in gold or shadow in blue, you can feel the weight he carries. Not as a burden, but as a reminder of everything he's survived. There's something poetic about that, something quietly heroic. Because Warren Worthington may look like an angel, but he became a legend through the ways he learned to live with his demons. If you strip away the armor, the wealth, the legacy, the wings, what remains is a man who keeps trying. A man who refuses to be defined by the worst thing that happened to him. A man who fell from heaven, crashed to earth, rebuilt himself from ashes, and learned to fly again. Not perfectly, not cleanly, but honestly. That's Warren's true power, not flight, not razor feathers, not celestial grace. His true power is resilience. Every time he rises, he tells the rest of us something simple, something profound. You are allowed to break. You are allowed to fall. You are allowed to rebuild. And no matter how many times the world tries to clip your wings, you can grow new ones. That is the story of Angel. That is the story of Archangel. And that is the story of Warren Worthington, the man forever caught between heaven and hell, yet always finding the strength to rise.